Can you say, I have Buddha nature? To answer the age-old question, does a dog have Buddha nature? Can you say yes? All right. Now that we got that settled. Hi, my name is Andrew. I'm a certified mindfulness meditation coach. I'm certified in the Unified Mindfulness System. You can find out more about at unifiedmindfulness.com. I am many things, of which a very proud dog owner, but I am not a licensed therapist, mental health professional, and or any of those other helping professions. Although I guess I would hope that I'm kind of in the helping profession adjacent as a meditation coach. So have a beautiful day. I don't know if you can see. That's what my shirt says. I got this from as part of a fundraiser for the Sokokoji Monastery. Yesterday was the day that they acknowledge and celebrate the Buddha's enlightenment, where he somewhat stubbornly decided he was going to sit under a tree until he was enlightened. We don't exactly know what day it was on, but the 8th of December is the day that it is celebrated. I think that's in most all Buddhist countries, but maybe I'm biasing towards Japan, given my background in Zen, or Soto Zen, I should say. Not that there's a big deal difference, but so today, tomorrow we're going to switch things up, but today I was thinking about doing a technique from the Unified Mindfulness System that's called Feel Good. And it is it's a technique where we drop labels. So there are no labels. And it's one where we have a very active stance, where in our situation for do nothing, we're being really in this mode of just receiving. We're not producing anything. We're just really kind of in a receiving mode. We're allowing the attention to be free range, to go where it wants. As I say, the line that I use from Shinzen is to allow whatever happens to happen. So just to play with creating a higher contrast, this feel good technique is about intentionally cultivating positive emotions, and then looking at those emotions kind of resonate in the body. So you can think of it kind of as, if you're able to, some people are able to just kind of flip a switch and get positive emotions. Some folks, if they do self-touch, so hand on the heart is what is offered, at least in old school Buddhism often. But even self-touch on an arm or over the shoulder is one way to kind of have contact. And often, not always the case, but often you can access a positive emotion within the body. Now, I'll just say, as someone who needed to grow in the dimension of feeling into my emotional body when I first started meditating, the idea that this is available was somewhat annoying and angered me to some degree. Case in point, you'll if you've ever tried doing a Mona Lisa half smile while you're meditating, or a full smile, just in doing that, you'll sometimes have a small response of positive emotions or positive affect in the body, and sometimes it's very very small. But for some people, it's quite noticeable. So this self-touch or smile are often ways that you can generate a positive emotion. And so, just like, to use the analogy of striking a bell, if you generate that positive emotion, then just like ringing the bell, that positive emotion can sometimes resonate or ripple through the body. And so it may be available to you in the face, the neck, the chest, more likely than not. Sometimes just in the upper torso, the front of the body. So we talk about strong back, soft front, that soft, compassionate front. You may find that when you do a half smile or full smile or the self-touch options I was talking about, you may find there's a warmth in that. And like ringing the bell, it'll be available for some period of time and then taper off. So there's an arising and then there's a passing. So this technique is about looking at intentionally creating these arisings and then looking at or focusing on what's going on in the body. So we're soaking our attention in, we're noticing and soaking our attention in. And again, no labels. We don't need to label anything. If you were to try, even if you want to be curious, it kind of gets in the way. Maybe is a good way to put it. I tried it because someone had asked me like, well, why wouldn't you do that? And I was like, I don't know, I should try that. And I did, and it seems like a bit of plate spinning, like a little bit too much. So as always, you can ignore all of what I just said. So if you don't want to do that, you don't want to take that active stance, or you're just joining in, then that's totally fine. You can kind of do your go-to practice, whatever your home base is or your favorite anchor, you can do that. But to explore this active stance of feel good, I think is interesting. And so that's what I pick something that I haven't done in a while, or that makes me curious about how it will resonate with folks. So lastly, or just to reframe, or in the benefit of hopefully helpful repetition. So with feel good, it's a noting technique, but we're noting a particular sensation around a positive feeling, which could be half smile or full smile, could be self-touch. So hand on the shoulder, hand on the heart, or hand just on your arm, just the warmth, the skin contact to skin contact warmth. In focusing on that sensation, if there's any positive emotion or positive affect that comes out of that, then we switch from whatever we've chosen as our contact point for creating that arising, and then we focus on the sensation while it remains and knowing that it'll pass. So that was a little bit of a frenetic and crazy explanation. You can kind of tell that I didn't write out what I was saying today. So hopefully your game, experiment, play around with it. As always, we got about 15 minutes that we're going to be doing this together. And then that's our something part, and then we'll finish with, as always, our do nothing. So I invite you to adopt a posture that helps you be both relaxed and alert. It may be helpful to arrange your shoulders over your hips and check to see if your nose is aligned with your navel. Knowing that we hold tension in the body in different places, so just checking in to see if there's any tension. Common areas might be the forehead, or around the eyes, the jaw, the neck, or the shoulders. And just seeing if there's tension there, and as you notice it, it may subside. If it doesn't, it's your first chance to bring no big deal attitude to the way things are. And then we begin with a few deliberate breaths. If possible, in through the nose and out through the nose. Again, slow and low is the tempo that we're looking for. That slow inhale through the nose and the slow exhale cues the nervous system to disengage the vagal brake and to allow the parasympathetic system to come online. And the slowness of that inhale allows us to breathe lower into the lungs. If you're congested, you can mimic that with pursed lips, or what's referred to sometimes as straw breathing. like you're breathing in through a straw and out through a straw. Good. So let go of any controlling or deliberate intentions to control the breath. Before we attempt to create any positive emotions, just see if there's any positive emotions available. For me, there's slight warmth in the chest and a pleasant feeling at the edge of my skin on my arms. So, in noticing the pleasantness of experience, we sometimes will create a resonant or ripple effect in the emotional body. So just see if you're able to contact or find any pleasantness, using that as your object, and then turning your attention towards the emotional body and seeing if there's any good vibes present and available. And like the analogy of striking the bell, we may find that as we start to focus on these sensations, the positive sensations, that they'll fade or they almost immediately disappear. It's almost like when we look at them, then there's a spontaneous gone. So just knowing that that's a possibility. So you're not doing anything wrong. It's a valid contingency to look out for. And since we're meditating in the privacy of the spaces around us, or likely to be in a private environment, you can try seeing if you can show a positive emotion to the body. So, like a half smile, that Mona Lisa almost smirk, or a full smile, and doing so knowing that no one is looking. And for me, the fact that this like smile and half smile worked was somewhat disconcerting to me at first, like witchcraft or something. So if that comes up for you, then just know that's a possibility. So as you smile, you may find a bit of a ripple action from the smile that kind of radiates down through the neck and to the chest, or some other constellation of sensations. So again, allowing that good vibration to be available, focusing on it, knowing that it too shall pass. And if none of these options have been successful in generating positive emotions, then you can always shift to a go-to practice. Whatever your home base is, no big deal. It's a worthy effort, just giving it a shot. So if you want, you can do a self-touch option if you haven't already. So you can do the hand on the chest. I often do the hand on the shoulder. This may make you feel a little closed from a posture perspective. So you can always move towards hand on the arm. The way that you're instructed to sit in Zazen is to do this hand posture of resting your left hand in your right hand and then gently touching your thumbs together. And so I will often use that hand position, or mudra if you want to be a fancy Buddha nerd, as my self-touch stimulus. Again, it might not be available to you, so no big deal. It's all good. So explore a bit more with any of those options. All right, so this may now be a big relief. So let go of that technique and move into this stance of allowing your attention to go wherever it wants, letting whatever happens happen. If we spontaneously notice that we're trying to conduct or direct where our attention is, we let that go. And we explore do nothing. And if your eyes have been closed, I invite you to open them and reconnect with your surroundings. So thank you for going through that. That's a technique I haven't guided in a while, but it's very unique to the unified mindfulness, or I should say, it's very unique to being included in the unified mindfulness system. There's a family of those techniques, and so there's a see good, feel good, hear good, and if you take and do all three of those together as a practice, it's referred to as be good. And Shinzen's intent is to draw in those practices in a secular way that are somewhat of practices that are used in the more esoteric forms of Buddhism. So I think they're somewhat interesting. I find, as I tried to offer, I find a bit of resistance in myself to some of the things with the self-touch and the smile, just because the fact that it works kind of creeps me out. And I'm not really sure why. I'm not really sure why that is. If you've ever done any breathing techniques, like the Wim Hof technique would be an example of that, where you're sort of over oxygenating your body. After you get done with a Wim Hof like breathing session, you feel, or at least I do, I have this sort of very odd positive charge to my body. And so even though it makes me feel really good, I have this reluctance to doing that breathing technique regularly. So so if that's alive for you, or you were like, that sucks, I'm not doing that, then understand. It's worth noting too that feel good as a technique can be done with external stimulus. So it could be done with music, and that's one of the things that when we teach an 8-week unified mindfulness course, we'll offer one of the entire classes is on using external stimulus like music for feel good. So you're listening to the music as a focus and then alternating your attention back to the body and kind of flipping this sort of posture back and forth. So if you're curious about that, you can go to Leonard's, that's lenards.us. And I think there's a video where I'm doing this little like short 20-second or 30-second example of music and then doing a technique around that, with my hope that it being 20 seconds or 30 seconds, that I'm not violating any intellectual property protections or anything like that. So if you have more questions about feel good, totally welcome to put those in the chat. If you have reports, totally open to hearing those. If you want to be on your way, I will offer my immense gratitude that you've spent 27 some minutes with me, and I very much appreciate that. And if you have questions and you want to reach out sort of after the fact, you can find me on Instagram. Probably is the easiest way to find me, and that's at Leonard's. My handle is Leonard's, so Lenards. I think my Instagram handle is also on the link that I posted in chat as well. And you can also find me in the unofficial Do Nothing Project Facebook group now too. So those are all possible ways to reach out. So happy Enlightenment Day, a day late. And may you have a beautiful day. And I will see you tomorrow for when we switch it up.